Hi again. Here's here's the movie. You talk about it because I keep getting the name wrong, Dad.
This is a summary, brief review of the, in quotes, movie Stonado.
Oh, that's
Uh,
right. It is Stonado.
Not much we can say about this movie. It's another ripoff of the tornado theme that's been prevalent lately with freak cyclones and tornadoes springing up either through natural occurrence or some some madman-made effort actually. And things being whisked up in the air and deposited in all kinds of places and doing all kinds of bad stuff. This particular variation is about ice crystals that are formed and enlarge due to cyclonic atmospheric conditions and taking up other elements and coming down as huge stones that explode after they start to warm up. Hence the name Stonado.
It's based on the Plymouth Rock site, and the storm started there, and there was a cyclone formed, and there were people observing it, and one of the people that just do the tours got sucked up by it, and that began the story of
Stonado.
yeah. And we began the story with a science teacher whose name is Joe, and he was teaching a class, and the storm started coming, and he started to look around. But what we find out throughout is that this character's Joe used to be a scientist, so he knew about weather and the weather patterns, and he saw what was happening. And his best friend, I had his name, Dad. I wrote it down. Oh, I hate it when I do that. Anyway, his best friend, who's a weatherman, was basically, he's just trying to get information on the story, and he saw that this storm was not just a freak occurrence. It's reoccurring, and it's happening and happening again. Nobody believes them. Joe used to study weather, and actually he was a scientist before he became a teacher. And what happened is his wife died of cancer, and he just gave up on that part of science. And he is a widower raising their two kids, and that's it. Go ahead, hit it, Dad.
Yeah, the usual things happen in the story. Storms pop up all over the place. Huge stones come down and trap people in various uh, landmarks throughout the city. That this happened in and around Boston, so you know stuff happens around Boston. And long story short, at the end of the day, uh, they figure out what's going on, what's causing these things, and they use some scientific gimmickry to stop the spread of the cyclonic action and stop the stones from being hurled all over the place. Um, eh, Once again, there are a few actors that you might recognize as if you watched the X Files. Cancer Man is one of the characters. He's a lighthouse keeper.
He's the one who sees the storm first off, and is killed by one of the storms. But he sees the reoccurrence happening, and he just sees it getting worse and worse and worse. It starts off in the sea, and then it slowly builds up to the land out of nowhere. And the thing that really bothered me is they're filming in Boston. Okay, landmarks and everything, and buildings get destroyed. But there was a scene where you're seeing the storm through a reflection of a glass window building. The building doesn't get hit at all, because it can't get hit, obviously, but it doesn't get hit, which makes no sense because the storm is close. If you can see the reflection through the window, it should be.
It's close enough for debris and stones to be hitting the building itself,
And stones are flying everywhere.
but not in this. It's just like little things like that. These are the kind of things that, when you watch enough sci-fi and enough movies in general, you can't help but look for these technical flaws that make a story that might have some credibility unrealistic. The writing was, again, sophomoric. There was another actor who came from another science fiction series. I can't think of the name of it. Had to do with aliens, coming to Earth and infiltrating society, disguising themselves as various people, in an attempt to take over. He and a few of his friends were the only ones who knew about it, and they were fighting an underground battle against the aliens. I can't think of his name, or the series, but
he was in it too.
He was the reporter who kept trying to get the lead story on everything with his friend who was the weatherman.
Joe
scientist.
has a sister who's a cop who.
Yes, he's kind of the science, the weatherman's kind of hot on.
His name is Lee.
Lee, okay, who Lee is kind of hot on.
And he's been hot on her for years.
The three of them, they grew up together in this small town. The three of them formed the triumvirate that fights this battle against this activity.
Oh, by the way, the stones explode, remember?
Yes, they do explode after they get warm. They're filled with
sulfur
and some other things.
And other gases that make it unstable.
When they warm up and mix with air and they become unstable and start to shake and explode. They're like bombs, really. If you see any volcano movies, you see the rocks that come out of volcanoes hit the ground and explode. Something similar, but not as hot. These things are cold, actually.
And they go into detail about stuff, and they don't make it like totally scientific that you're bored out of your mind. They go into detail, and they go to try and make it clear to their audience what's going on, but you don't care anyway.
After a while, you want tornadoes to come around and have bombs explode everything and blow up everybody. So this thing will end. Again, C- maybe if I had to give it a grade, because a rip off of the tornado theme and nothing really original. Then you can hang your hat on and say, oh, this is a different movie from the old stuff, like Sharknado or.
I think that's what it is. It's just everybody's getting on Sharknado that they just want to do as much as they can on that stream.
If I had to write, I'd have a different storyline, but we won't go into that.
Yeah, just shush that.
Anyway, just for the idea of having watched sci-fi, it's a one-time see and then move on. Once again, don't run across the street to look at it because you might get hit by a flying stone from
for no reason.
You never know. Anyway, that's my end of it. If you have nothing to do and
you wouldn't. No,
a cold winter night, you're snuggling around a campfire and everything else went off.
No.
At least watch half of it before you fall asleep.
No.
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 What can I say?
Just no. It's. See how I'm saying no? That's how the movie was. No.
Yeah, nothing that inspired you or shook you up or made you excited.
No.
It was like, thanks, bye.
People don't listen until it's too late, which is the usual story. And stones drop, stones, and it starts to shake and drop. That's it. That's Stonado for you guys, and I'm sure there's going to be something on in the weekend. I'll let you know about it, and we'll review it because it's our job. I mean, we have to.
That's what we do.
It's what we do.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
You guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Don't eat too much.
Yeah, right, like that's going to happen.
Gobble, gobble.
And be safe.
First and foremost.
Bye.
Take care.